Have you ever felt like the universe was working against you? Like every door you tried to open slammed shut in your face? And no matter how hard you worked or how much you wanted something, it just wouldn't happen? Yeah. I've been there too. And today I want to share a story with you that completely changed how I see those moments. Because sometimes the things we think are failures are actually saving us from something we can't see yet. There was this guy named Eli. He lived in a quiet village, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, where life moved slow and nothing much ever changed. But Eli? He wanted more. He didn't want to spend his whole life in that same dusty village, working the same fields his father worked, watching the same sun rise and set over the same hills. He had dreams, big ones. He wanted to travel with merchants, see cities he'd only heard about in stories, come back home with enough money to change everything for his family. Every single night, he'd sit by candlelight and plan it all out. The route he'd take, the people he'd meet, the life he'd build. He could see it so clearly it felt real. So one morning he packed his bag. Some bread, water, a change of clothes. His mom wrapped an old cloak around his shoulders and whispered a prayer over him. He was ready. This was it. But when he got to the edge of the village, the bridge was gone. Not damaged. Gone. The river had swelled overnight and torn the whole thing apart. Workers stood there shaking their heads. It'll take weeks to fix, they said. Weeks. Eli just stood there, staring at the rushing water, feeling his whole plan dissolve in front of him. How could this happen today? Of all days? He went home, and he waited. Weeks passed. The bridge got rebuilt. He saved up a little more money, packed his bag again. This time he made it further. He was tying his shoes, about to walk out the door, when his little sister came running in, crying. Their dad had fallen off a ladder. His leg was badly hurt. The local healer came, wrapped it up, said he couldn't move for months. And Eli stood there, looking at his bag by the door, then at his father's face, and he just unpacked. He stayed. He worked the fields. He helped his dad eat, walk, heal. And every night he sat in that same room, under that same dim light, wondering if maybe the world just didn't want him to succeed. Maybe he wasn't meant for more. Months later, his dad could finally walk again. And Eli? He tried one more time. There was a caravan passing through. A trader needed help. This is it, Eli thought. This is my shot. But the morning he was supposed to leave, he found his donkey lying in the dirt, legs swollen, unable to stand. No donkey meant no way to get there in time. He knelt down next to it and just broke. He looked up at the sky and asked the question we've all asked at some point. Why? Why do you keep closing every door I try to open? What am I doing wrong? He felt invisible, forgotten, like his dreams didn't matter. That day, he wandered out to the fields just to clear his head. And there was this older woman named Dara working the soil. She'd lived in the village forever. Quiet, kind. People said she had a way of seeing things others couldn't. She looked at Eli and called him over. He sat down and just let it all out. The broken bridge, his father, the donkey, all of it. She listened without interrupting. And when he finished, she reached into her pocket and pulled out 2 seeds. Plant one on that hard path over there, she said. Plant the other by the stream where the soil is soft. Then come back in a few weeks. That's it. No explanation. No big speech. Just plant them and see. So he did. 1 seed went into the dry, rocky path where people walked every day. The other went into the rich, dark soil by the water. And then he went home. Life kept moving. He worked. He helped his family. He tried not to think about it. But a few weeks later, curiosity pulled him back. He walked to the path first. Nothing. The ground was cracked and dusty. The seed was gone, trampled, forgotten. But when he walked to the stream, a small green plant was growing there. Strong. Alive. Its roots dug deep into the soil. The leaves moved gently in the breeze, but the plant held firm. Dara was standing nearby, leaning on her walking stick. She asked him, "What do you see?" He said, "1 seed died. The other lived." She nodded. "Why do you think that is?" He thought for a moment. Because the ground was better. There was water. There was room. Dara smiled. You planted both seeds with the same hope. But only one place could actually hold that life. Sometimes our plans are like that first seed. We choose where we want them to grow. We work hard. We believe. But the ground is all wrong. And it's not because the seed is bad. It's because the soil can't support it. She paused. Maybe someone wiser than you is choosing where your life can truly grow. Maybe those closed doors weren't against you. Maybe they were guiding you away from stone and toward something better. Something shifted in Eli that day. He didn't stop working. He didn't give up. But he started taking care of that little plant by the stream. He watered it, protected it, watched it grow. And over time, it became a tree. A big, strong tree with wide branches. People started stopping there to rest. Travelers would sit in its shade. Kids would play underneath it. Eli built a little shelter next to it, left water out for strangers. The place became known. A safe stop between villages. Years later, a caravan came through. The leader was sick, exhausted. They saw the tree, the shelter, the water waiting. They stopped. Eli brought them food, opened his home. The leader rested under that tree all night. And in the morning, he looked at Eli and said, "In all my travels, I've never seen a place like this. Who built it?" Eli smiled. "I just planted a seed and let it grow." The leader was so moved, he promised to send supplies every season. Grain, oil, whatever Eli needed. His family would never go without again. Eli never became the traveler he thought he wanted to be. But the road came to him, and he realized that every closed door, every broken plan, every moment he thought he was being forgotten, was actually guiding him toward this. Toward a life he never could have planned on his own. A life that mattered. So if you're sitting there right now feeling like nothing's working, like every plan is falling apart, I want you to remember this. Maybe you're not being blocked. Maybe you're being redirected. Maybe the seed you're trying to force into hard ground just isn't meant to grow there. And somewhere, in softer soil you can't see yet, something better is already taking root. You're not forgotten. You're being guided. If this story hit you the way it hit me, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more stories like this. And drop a comment telling me about a time a closed door turned out to be a blessing. I'll see you in the next one.